What's going on, guys? Welcome back to High Top Sports Texas. Well, not welcome back because this is our first show. So welcome to the show here. We got our Texas insider, Lacey with Laced Up Lacey. Got a great show for you guys in store. Landed yourself a big-time commit from the portal. We're going to talk about that. Also, too, it's a little bit old. We're going to talk about the historic draft that Sarkisian and the Texans had, and then get into a little bit of the portal. What is there any more that you guys plan to go get? Are you content with where you're at? Great stuff going on. How are you, Lacey?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's Sunday. It's a Sunday night, and it's been a pretty chill day, so I can't really complain. How have you been? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, exciting. And again, it's been a busy day. It's been a busy portal last couple of days for a lot of schools. And again, the Horns are starting to ramp back up. I'm excited too to follow the Texas recruiting trail as they seem to have dominated over the last years. Myself being a Gator fan, you stole a big one, two big ones from us. Colin Simmons wasn't really
You
a
got
steal.
one back. You
That
got one back.
that is true. Deontay Robinson, we did get back, so I can't be too upset. But you took Xavier Filsaime. That one stung. That was a big time pull. Yeah, that one
And
hurt.
after the spring game, there were some Florida fans on Twitter that decided they were gonna have
Chirp.
some fun with that one. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
freshmen.
They're brutal.
Freshmen.
They're
Like,
brutal. Yeah, they saw some missed tackles and they took advantage of it. I was like,
oh,
come
for
on.
sure. They saw busted covers and they were like, "Let full send, like let's get it, man." Like, haha, jokes on you.
Yeah, that's the world. That's Florida fans. We
Welcome
are
to the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Yeah, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe around here. But let's talk about the big time cornerback you guys landed today.
Brutal.
Javion Cole. This is a low key huge pickup. We're gonna talk all about him. He's a sophomore, 2-star recruit coming out of high school. Nobody's looking at this kid. Probably due to size 5'10", 185. But if you saw what we did last year and kind of just the jump that he made, this kid's really, really good.
He's very talented, very, very physical. Recorded 53 tackles and 7 interceptions in his 2 seasons at San Jose State. So pretty productive in what he needed to do. And he's going to fit in with the scheme that Pete Kwiatkowski and Steve Sarkisian have for the defense. I feel like he fits in really well with what they already do on the back end. They really enjoy, as much as Texas fans hate it, because we have a lot of the talent and the physicality to play press man every single snap. But unfortunately, that's just not how our scheme fits. That's not what PK likes to do. That's not what Terry Joseph teaches. That's not, unfortunately. Like, I mean, it's a give and take for sure, but he fits in exactly where we need him to. He's got a very, very high football IQ. Obviously, he's got some experience. Losing Terrence Brooks to the portal was a big hit. So bringing in a guy like Javion Cole is an immediate help. You bring in experience, high football IQ, physicality, just anything you could really ask for.
If you take a look at his PFF scores, like I was just mentioning, he ranked 27th overall out of all cornerbacks. Obviously, you can see that yellow there, that 58.6. That was his freshman year. And you see the jump that he made. I like to look at these grades. I don't know if I'm a big movie guy, like an IMDb score. This 86.2, they're very
like
rare.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly. They're very rare. They're very hard to get. You see this across the board, 86.2 overall, 82.4 on pass rush grade, 83.6 on coverage grade, and 86.1 on all-around great cornerback, an absolute steal, a diamond in the rough. Like I said, a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. And just this is where the transfer portal, in my opinion, is awesome because guys like this have an opportunity who may have not got looked at because of the high school they went to, because of the competition. They didn't get a lot of eyeballs on them because of their size. They're not going to be able to match up. Now look at them, Power 5, SEC, absolutely massive pickup. This one will be one that you guys
at
will
a
be
contending school. Like not just at any school either, at a school that will be contending for at the upper part of the league.
Sure.
So,
And look, he's not going for it to sit around either. He's going to be one of the top guys on that cornerback in that secondary room. So good stuff for you guys. Good pickup for Sarkisian and the boys. And look, I think let's kind of segue into. I think it's a perfect segue into the draft, the historic draft. This is what Sark's going to have a great opportunity to start reeling these guys in because he's pumping guys clearly into the NFL with 11. Is that right?
11. You know, it's crazy to think because even Mac Brown didn't have 11. And Mac Brown went to 2 national championships. You know,
Wow.
like it's crazy to think that Mac Brown didn't even have 11 draft picks, and we sent 11 players to the NFL Combine, and every single one of them got drafted. That is a hell of a resume in year 3 under Steve Sarkisian, especially after in year 1 having 0 players drafted. He
Sure.
had 0 players drafted in 2022. 2023, he boosted it up to 5, and now we're at 11.
Now,
So not only are you seeing the development on the field, but you're seeing it with the program in and of itself.
now let me ask you, because FSU had a pretty historic class too. Obviously, being a Gator fan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with their success. I felt it on Twitter. They had a ton
Mm-hmm.
go in, but they're in a kind of in a rebuild. They've lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Does this concern you for Texas? Like we just kind of said, they're in contention. They're
No.
definitely on the attack here. We assume so. Losing 11 guys, does this concern you? You guys where you need to be?
Honestly, it's not really concerning just for the fact that we're returning 72% of our production from last season.
Wow.
We are top 3 in the SEC in returning production, even with losing guys like Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, Tavondre Sweat, Byron Murphy, like literal big name guys that were in the upper realms of their positions. You know, we're deep. We're deep in many positions. That is due to the transfer portal. That's due to how well Steve Sarkisian has been recruiting out of high school the past couple of years. It's just it's amazing, and it's really exciting as a Texas fan to be able to sit and have these conversations, because we keep saying, like, in our own little spaces, just win.
It's
Winning
it's the
cures
same
all.
Ellinger. We're back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and
it's
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 bit us in
ringing.
the ass so much. Like, it has hurt so much.
Yeah, I love it though.
But
I love it.
it's exciting because, you know, Sark really seems to have a handle not only on how he wants to run his program, but the way that the path that college football is going down in general. He understands NIL. He understands the transfer portal. He goes and he's not going in and just getting anybody. You know, like,
Sure.
he's going with a plan, with thoughts, with an idea of exactly what he's wanting, and he's going out and getting it, whether we whiff on it or not, whether we actually get the guys we're looking for or not. He goes all in on the guys that he knows he wants.
Texas as a Gator fan scares the hell out of me. I've been saying this all last year. Again, they're their recipe for success. Everyone always claims for A&M. Doesn't make any sense to me. Texas is a
Mm-mm.
thoroughbred of an organization. They've got the money, they've got the stature, and now they're in the conference that everybody wants to be in. I mean, it is a recipe, in my opinion, for disaster for the rest of us. And let me, for Texas fans, you guys should be ecstatic. And look, it's paying off. I mean, incredible recruiting classes for the last couple of years, and now it seems like you're kind of picking and choosing what you want in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about, kind of wrap up with more portal talk and where you feel like you're at. But personal question, I love the quarterback room. Big Quinn Ewers fan, especially when I had the mullet. Do you feel? I mean, I think it's Quinn's job, like without a question. Do we start here? Arch had a hell of a spring game. They were ranting and raving about him. I'm not. This is not being a hater. Texas fans, relax a minute. I feel like his 5 stars, he hasn't lived up to that just yet. I know the spring game, he looked great, but I feel like, hey, 5 stars, he's been a little slow to get off the runway, but it looked like he started to make a run. Do you think he takes a big step this year and they could be calling for Arch, or is this Quinn's year to lose?
Well, let me start off by saying let me be real honest. I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that he hasn't done well or he hasn't done X, Y, and Z. He's a second year guy.
Fair enough.
He's in year 2 under a guy behind Quinn Ewers, who is a definite starter. He's been the solid starter since Arch got on campus. His job has never been in question, and it is still not in question. The only thing that was solidified in that spring game is that Arch is who we thought he was. Arch is becoming who we think he can be. Arch is taking the steps necessary to become the starting quarterback when necessary. And at the end of the day, Quinn hasn't had a fully healthy season. You know, there is a very big possibility that Arch will have to come in at some point. And I'm not saying that he's going to come in and immediately lose his job to Arch Manning. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that, like I said, he hasn't had a fully healthy season since high school.
Agreed. Look, I don't think it's Quinn's to lose, but you know how the chirps get chirping and it gets louder and louder. So I just wanted to see where your perspective was on it. And My sense in Arch, look, I think what you got to love in Arch, which it's hard to find nowadays, is a top tier prospect like that is willingly wanting to sit behind and grow and know that this is more beneficial than going and being the guy somewhere and getting thrown to the wolves. I think that's you should be ecstatic as Longhorn fans, as I'm sure that you are. But I think more so the film that we saw when he first came onto the scene wasn't really just this explosive like 5-star talent we
Yeah.
thought it would be. So, but the spring game was what we thought he was supposed to be with just out
For
there
sure.
slinging it.
Well, and I also think people underestimate the fact that he's a Manning. You know, like the Mannings know what what they want. Their main goal, as much as they want him to do well in college, they want him to do well for his team in college and everything. Their goal is his legacy in the NFL. That is
That's all that matters. Yeah.
That is where their tunnel vision is at, and they chose Texas for Steve Sarkisian. They wanted Arch to get developed under Sark. I was going to
Sure.
say Steve. That would have sounded really weird. But
Sure.
they
You guys
they
are, I get it.
wanted
You guys are on a first
our-
name basis. I'm cool with
first
it.
name basis. We're
Yeah,
best.
it's Lace and Steve. What's up? We're back at it again.
Yeah, right. But they chose Texas for a reason, and that was because
The bedazzled
I have
mic's
no
got a mind
idea
of
what
its
just
own. Yeah.
happened there. I don't know what just happened there. What is going on? Hold on one second.
No
2
worries.
seconds. We're struggling.
The mic's doing its own thing here, boys and girls.
What just happened? I don't understand it. That was wild. Okay. Anyways, they knew what they were doing whenever they chose Sark and whenever they chose Texas. They
For
knew
sure.
what they knew what they were getting into. We had Quinn Ewers whenever Arch committed. Like Quinn had transferred and then Arch committed. So
Sure.
they
Yeah,
knew
it
what
was
the
never a
situation
secret.
was.
Yeah. No, it was never going to be in question.
They knew what the situation was. And so the fact that we live in the day and age where everybody just automatically expects people to hit the portal whenever they're not getting playing time, but they don't take into consideration the fact that they want Arch to get developed. They don't care about when he starts playing. They want him to get developed and be the best quarterback on the field whenever he does inevitably hit the field.
For sure. No, and I think
And
that's as a Texas fan, you should be pumped to be able to have that talent just stockpiled, ready to go at your willing call.
oh, and it
So,
just keeps going because Arch Manning looked amazing, but so did Trey Owens.
yeah, can't wait. I love hearing that.
Let's put some
Show some
hype in
love.
some Trey Owens names. Yeah.
Let's talk about the portal again. Let's kind of wrap up with how you feel you've done thus far. These last 2 portal cycles, is Texas done? Are you guys kind of wrapped up and we're headed into August, or how's that playing out for y'all?
I think that they wish they would have obviously gotten Dominic Williams. You know, Dominic Williams going to OU and Jay Toya staying at UCLA were pretty big hits. We put all of our eggs in 3 baskets, and that was Bill Norton, Jay Toya, Dominic Williams. Those were the eggs those were the guys that we wanted. Those were the guys that Steve Sarkisian had his laser vision on, and we came away 1 of 3. And I think that obviously they wish that they would have gotten one more out of the portal. They would have wished they would have gotten one of the 3, but
Sure.
I think that at this point we're pretty set in where we're at. Bill Norton is coming in and adding a big body. You know, he is going to be that big run stopper, that big body in the middle that just clogs up the lane. So that's more so. And we rotate a lot of guys on the interior D-line anyways. So it's one of those, the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. You know, you can't get everybody, but I know they're happy with Bill Norton, and I know they're excited to see where they're headed with the other guys that are in that room. It's a little questionable, but I think that they're pretty happy and excited about where they are development wise. I think it just comes down to Kenny Baker being able to make a name for himself. You know, Kenny Baker being able to step up and say, you know, this is why you need to come to Texas, and kind of
Close it.
put some proof in the pudding. Is that the phrase?
Something like that.
It's proof is in the pudding, but like my
To
verbiage
solidify
wasn't
the
right.
the pudding proof, maybe is what you're looking for.
To
Something.
solidify the pudding.
Solidify the pudding. Look, I think I've said this before. I talked about being buyers and sellers coming this portal cycle, and I kind of compare it to the baseball offseason, which it doesn't quite make sense because when you're a seller in baseball, you're selling the team, you're kind of giving up. You don't really do that in this portal cycle, but I refer
Yeah.
to buying in this portal cycle because of this position that you're in. You're able to go and be aggressive and target 3 to 4 guys and go all in. And so if you miss out, it's not a
Mhm.
big deal because you're buying, you're doubling down, and this is going to just
Mhm.
take you to the next level. If we miss, we're not going to be backwards, but we're not going to be
Yeah.
exactly where we want to be. But you're still in a
Mhm.
fantastic position, meaning that you're in a
Mhm.
buyer's position. There really isn't any sellers, I
Mhm.
guess, unless, except for like maybe Michigan State, where everyone left.
Yeah.
It seems like they're just selling everybody. I don't know what's going
Or
on
like a
up there.
Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, where everyone's just leaving. They're not really intentionally doing it, but they're just in a really
It just
weird.
kind of
si-
happened.
Yeah, they're just in a little poor situation right now. So yeah, Washington's a wild one, and Michigan State's a wild one. This is another whole other conversation for another day. But just if your school loses a coach, the pilgrimage that could happen, it has to be
Mhm.
frightening for anybody because
Terrifying.
yeah, you don't even want to fire anybody anymore. Like everyone's like, it's like
No,
you
you're
don't want
like,
to move, and you got like, when do you
don't
fire them?
don't move. What do I do with my hands? Like,
Yeah, like, do you want to fire? Do you want to take a job? Like, when do you do it? Like, think about like Saban, right? Kind of left Bam out in the cold there. Like, the portal closes, but
Mhm.
people can tell him it was mayhem. Well, Lacey, I think
Yeah.
this was an absolute banger of a first episode. Hopefully we get some Texans in here, and hopefully they enjoy the content as well. If you guys did, you know what to do. Smash the like button and subscribe. We'll be trying to do these frequently, weekly, couple shows. You know, when news happens like it did today, we'll have a special show for you guys. But tell them where they can follow you on Twitter so they can keep up with you on Twitter as well on YouTube here.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm here on YouTube at Laced Up X Podcast, and I'm over on Twitter at Hook'em Lacey XOXO. It's a little bit long, but so
XOXO, baby.
Hook'em EM Lacey spelled with an I, and then XOXO.
I love it. And you'll be live tomorrow on your YouTube channel as well, correct?
Yep, we go live Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are live every single Monday. I am live with Coach Charlie Williams, aka Coach Dub. He is a former offensive analyst over at UNLV, and he's currently a recruiting analyst at Inside Texas over at On3. So it's a really exciting show on Monday nights. Y'all got to come check it out.
Love it. Well, we're happy to have you part of our team here at High Top Sports to grow the High Top Sports Texas brand. Till next time, boys and girls, smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys.
Hook 'em.